The pervasive cultural mantra that insists everything must always be okay is not only unrealistic, but also harmful. It can compel individuals to exist in a state of denial, brushing off every wrong done to them. And whether consciously or unconsciously, many people choose to hide their pain, and others may not even realize they're suffering. Those who mask their emotional distress often feel they are protecting others from the burden of their troubles. They believe that by not sharing their pain, they save loved ones the ordeal of feeling obliged to help, which in turn might disturb the equilibrium of their relationships. And this is not a simple choice, but a complex defense mechanism against potential isolation. For some, wearing a mask becomes a preferable alternative to confronting their true feelings, a way to escape the harsh realities of their emotional landscapes. And in today's video, I want to cover how it's okay to let down your guard, how it's okay to let others in, because I know it hurts, and to try, feel and process what it is you're going through. So let's get it. This behavior is often rooted in fear of losing connections with those they care about, and by they I mean those sufferings, if they reveal their vulnerabilities. Furthermore, this fear can manifest in various forms: fear that others might respond with dismissiveness, insensitivity, or apathy to their suffering, or conversely, in special cases, that they might respond with compassion and an eagerness to help. Because the latter, though seemingly positive, can intensify anxiety about being a burden. Thus, by not opening up, they believe they are acting considerately, preserving the emotional well-being of others at the expense of their own. I feel like many people know that they're suffering. I feel like they not only choose to hide their emotions, but because they're afraid of people not being able to understand, because it's a big world out there, and I feel like people just don't realize that may not be the only ones going through whatever it is that they're going through. There are probably millions of other people experiencing maybe not the same exact circumstances, but the negativity and the pessimism constantly just floating around them, you know what I mean? So it's totally okay as a person to feel this certain way, but masking that is not a good outlet, because one, you're not expressing yourself, and two, you're just harboring a lot of just distress, emotional distress, and I've talked about that a lot, where harboring and holding on to emotions can cause them to build up inside, and it can have its repercussions in the future, either towards yourself, towards others. You could just be constantly visibly upset and not present in certain moments, and people will pick up on that. People will note on that behavior of you, and they ask yo, are you okay, or is everything going all right? And you're if you're constantly responding, yeah, I'm all right, or just fake a smile, or just put on a mask in front of others, it's the first time it happens, yeah, they're gonna be okay, fine, just let me know if anything's wrong. And then as time progresses, people are gonna get more and more concerned, and eventually when you tell them that you're okay, they're not gonna believe that. And so then they'll try to force themselves to help you, but then because you don't want that help, you're gonna start pushing away from them more and more and more and more, into the point where they'll think that the only outlet that you have is just to remove yourself from the equation, remove yourself. And that is not what anybody ever wants, especially people who care about you and want to be there for you, genuinely want to see you grow and survive and thrive in this world, And so people make decisions that they think will benefit others if they just spare others of the burden of having to take care of them, or the belief that you could just handle everything yourself. You don't have to handle everything yourself. It's okay to fall apart, and this approach of bottling up emotions can have severe long-term repercussions. The energy expended in maintaining this facade of normalcy can lead to deeper psychological distress and even physical health issues. Additionally, there is the fear that revealing one's struggles might lead others to question their competence and independence, potentially affecting their professional and personal relationships. Because in my experience, the dread of being perceived differently or like worse, that comes with the fear of being socially ostracized for showing weakness, which compels many to continue proving their strength and normalcy, further entrenching their isolation. Let me tell you something: you don't have to prove anything to anyone except for yourself. The only person you have to prove you are capable is yourself. And for the real ones in your life, they're always going to be there for you. And the real ones, that may be your family, that may be your friends, but most importantly, it should be you that you've done that you're doing this for. And I've talked about this a lot in my earlier videos. It's just when you realize that the only person that gets you is yourself, then you realize what you need for yourself and what you should be pursuing, not because it's anybody's expectation, but because you set those standards for yourself. And that can lead to a whole new gateway of self-love and self-understanding. You don't want to just isolate everybody yourself. You don't want to just don't take what I say as just like, I'm only doing this for me means that I have to cut everybody in my life out. That's not necessarily true. You can still have those in your life who genuinely want to help you. It's crucial to acknowledge that it is perfectly normal and healthy to not be okay. You're not immortal. You're not some rock or a robot that can just like harbor all this like pain and suffering inside, and that's not you. What you are is a human being that has actual feelings that should never be negated, no matter what. And it's okay to fall apart. It's okay for things to not be okay. I know that I can't count how many times where I wanted things to just be okay and wanting to just like break out and just go away, and that feeling doesn't go away. It doesn't go away for a long time. You just really have to sit with it. You really have to acknowledge that it's there, and pretending it's not there only makes things worse. So always realize that you are allowed to feel, and let anybody ever tell you any different. Recognizing and validating one's emotions is a critical step towards healing. It's important to uplift oneself and others who might be facing similar battles, and showing them that their feelings are valid and that they are not alone in their struggles. Furthermore, opening up about one's feelings doesn't have to be an all or nothing scenario. It's perfectly acceptable to take gradual steps toward sharing one's burdens. So you might remember that in my videos I talk a lot about, I remember I talked about how you should spread, love and understanding and not hate, because you wouldn't want others to feel, that sense of isolation, and in turn take that out on others and create that cycle of hate. That's not something that you want to do. What you want to do is you want to spread love, right? You want to spread that feeling of positivity. You want to let others feel that they're appreciated, that they're loved, and that that you're there for them. And that may not be something necessary that you felt yourself. I remember I said that some people may not have felt that love from anybody, and that depends really on your upbringing. But I would rather live in a world where I don't have to worry about the next person who I find suffering will continue to suffer if I didn't held my hand out to them. And I try, and everybody I feel like should try, if anybody who comes across their path, try to help them in any way. It's not a lot to go out your way to help somebody. Sometimes it's not a lot to let somebody know that everything's gonna be okay, and that, because some people just really want to hear that, and I definitely wanted to hear that. But regardless of whether you hear that or not, you should always strive to spread that positivity, and in doing so, you're creating this world where everybody's is starting to love each other, and that's a beautiful thing. And simply acknowledging internally that one is not okay can be a significant and necessary acknowledgement that paves the way for further healing. And prioritizing one's emotional and mental needs is essential, and part of this prioritization means understanding that it's okay to not have everything figured out. And that goes for everything, whether that be your future, your relationships, or, like school, like it could be anything. So, because it's okay to feel overwhelmed. It's okay to feel sad and frustrated. Accepting that life includes periods of just not being okay can be liberating. It allows individuals to seek the support they need without the pretense of resilience or independence. Let down your guard sometimes. You don't always have to be strong. Let others be strong for you. Let others hold you up. In the end, embracing the reality of one's feelings leads to a more authentic existence and ultimately to a healthier state of mind. Thus, by confronting and acknowledging our vulnerabilities, we open the door to genuine support and deeper connections with others, fostering a community where it's safe to be oneself, imperfections and all, and where it's also safe to not be okay.